Hey everyone! Welcome to English Journey. I'm your host and your buddy on this English learning journey. Today, we're going to talk about a super down-to-earth and very common topic: feelings and emotions. I know that normally, you might say things like, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm happy, of course. These expressions aren't wrong, but they're a bit like plain water, safe, healthy, but kinda boring. Today, I'm going to help you turn these plain water expressions into fruit juice cocktail expressions. More vivid, more natural, and more visual. And the best part? These are phrases that native speakers actually use in everyday conversation. So, are you ready? Grab a cup of tea or hug your bag of chips while we learn. Don't worry about the calories, I'm definitely not counting them for you. Part 1. Expressions for fatigue and exhaustion. One of the most common emotions in life is being tired. But there are so many kinds of tired: physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally drained, even soul tired. Saying just I'm tired isn't enough. Let's level up. 1. Done in. If you hear someone say, I'm completely done in, it doesn't mean they've finished a task. It means they are totally exhausted. Imagine finishing a marathon or pulling an all-nighter at work until 3 a.m. and the next morning your boss says good morning. That moment, you can say dramatically, I'm absolutely done in. Example, after moving all the furniture by myself, I was completely done in. Yesterday I went shopping. I only planned to buy a pair of shoes, but ended up wandering around for 5 hours. I got home completely done in. Didn't even get the shoes, and my legs felt like they were about to give out. 2. Worn out. This one is similar to done in, but it's more common, especially in American English. I'm worn out means I'm totally exhausted. Example, I'm worn out after chasing my kids around the park. My washing machine broke, so I hand-washed a huge pile of clothes and I was more worn out than the clothes themselves. Humorous example. One of my friends said, I'm worn out after watching Netflix. I thought, really? Watching TV makes you tired. He said he watched 10 episodes of a suspense series straight, and his brain was exhausted. Mental fatigue counts too. 3. Drained. This word emphasizes being mentally or emotionally emptied. For example, I'm mentally drained. Example, after 3 hours of Zoom meetings, I felt completely drained. I once went on a blind date for 2 hours. The other person just talked about how amazing they were at investing the whole time. I got home completely drained. Tip: if you're really tired, don't just say tired. Try done in, worn out, drained. Not only do they sound more natural, they instantly convey how exhausted you feel. Part 2. Expressions for minor illnesses and feeling off all right. We just talked about that kind of completely wiped out exhaustion. But in real life, there's another situation. You're not super tired, but your body feels a little off. Basically, it's that not sick enough to call an ambulance, but definitely not in the mood to go to work kind of state. You know the feeling, right? In English, There are a few very common expressions for this. 1. Under the weather literally. It sounds like under the weather, but it actually means feeling a bit unwell. This expression is super common, especially in British English. For example, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. I'm feeling a little off today. Closing parenthesis. See? This sentence is subtle. It doesn't make people think you're about to go to the hospital, but it still lets them know you're not at your best. Many native speakers use this phrase when calling in sick. For example, in an email, "Sorry, I can't make it to work. I'm feeling a bit under the weather." Your boss immediately gets it. Point 2. Feeling rough. This one means feeling not so great or under the weather. The rough here isn't about texture, it's about feeling lousy. I had too much pizza last night. I'm feeling rough this morning. I overdid it on pizza last night. I feel awful this morning. Closing parenthesis. See how casual and relatable that is? People instantly know you're not faking it. Point 3. Not 100%. This expression is super simple, but very natural. It just means I'm not completely okay. I'm not feeling 100% today, maybe just 70%. I'm not fully back to normal today, maybe only about 70%. When you say this, you can even exaggerate with a gesture, like your body is a low battery phone. Picture a red battery icon flashing, warning you low power mode. Instant visual. Let's put them together in a little scenario. Imagine you wake up in the morning, ready to go to work, but your head is spinning a bit, your nose is stuffy, and you just feel off. You grab your phone and text your colleague, "Hey, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today." Not 100%, might work from home. Double quotes. See? Short, clear, and supernatural. Plus, these expressions are perfect for everyday life. For example, if a friend invites you out for drinks, you can say, "Sorry, I'll pass. Still feeling a bit rough after yesterday." It sounds honest, has a hint of humor, and no one will push you to go. Part 3. Dramatic expressions for feeling really sick. Alright. So we've covered being exhausted and feeling a little off. But sometimes life hits harder. You feel really awful, like your body is betraying you. And in English, there are some fun, dramatic expressions that perfectly capture that. Oh no, I might not survive this feeling. 1. At death's door. When someone says, "I was at death's door," it doesn't mean they're literally about to die. It just means they felt extremely sick, weak, or completely unwell, maybe from the flu, a fever, or food poisoning. Example, I was at death's door after catching that terrible stomach bug. I felt so bad, I could barely move. It's a great exaggeration for storytelling. Saying you were at death's door makes your story more emotional or even funny. Real-life example. A few years ago, I caught a nasty cold during winter. I was coughing, sneezing, sweating, everything hurt. I couldn't even sit up in bed. I texted my friend, "Please send soup. I think I'm at death's door." Of course, I was fine a few days later, but at the moment, It felt like the worst thing ever. Point 2. Feeling like a zombie. This one is super visual. When you say I feel like a zombie, it usually means you're so tired or sick that you're moving around without energy or awareness. Example, after staying up all night with the flu, I felt like a zombie the next day. You can imagine shuffling around the room, blankly staring at walls and forgetting where you put your phone. Classic zombie behavior. 3. Feeling wiped out. This one is simpler but very common. It means completely exhausted, both physically and mentally. Example, I was wiped out after that 3-day food poisoning ordeal. You can use this after any tough week, long illness, or even after emotional stress. It's short, expressive, and easy to throw into conversation. Quick scenario. Imagine you've had the worst cold of the year, fever, chills, body aches. You try to text a friend, honestly, I was at death's door yesterday. I felt like a zombie today. Totally wiped out. Boom! In 3 short phrases, you've painted a vivid picture of your misery. Friends will immediately understand and maybe send soup. Tip: these dramatic expressions are perfect for casual conversations, social media posts, or storytelling. They're not for serious medical situations, but they make your English colorful and entertaining. Part 4. Expressions for recovery and feeling energized again. Alright, so you've been exhausted, a little under the weather, or even at death's door, but eventually you start feeling better, and English has some fun ways to describe the comeback. 1. Fit as a fiddle. This is a classic expression meaning you're healthy, strong, and full of energy. Don't let the word fiddle or violin confuse you. It has nothing to do with music here. Example, after a week of rest and soup, I'm finally fit as a fiddle again. It's positive, cheerful, and gives off the vibe, I'm back, baby. You can also use it for other people. Don't worry about my grandma, she's 85, and still fit as a fiddle. 2. Back on my feet. This one is pretty literal and visual. It means you've recovered, regained your energy, or returned to normal. Example, after being sick for days, I'm finally back on my feet. You can imagine yourself wobbling around like a newborn deer for a few days, and then suddenly, bam, standing tall again. Perfect for stories about recovery. 3. Raring to go. This expression is more energetic. It means you're excited and ready to start doing things again. Example, after the weekend nap marathon, I'm raring to go for Monday's work. It's especially useful when you've had a rest or a holiday and your energy is back to full power. Quick scenario. Let's imagine you've been sick all week. Monday morning, you wake up feeling great. You text your friend, hey, after all that rest and some homemade soup, I'm fit as a fiddle, back on my feet and raring to go. See how these phrases stack together to show your full comeback? Instead of just saying I'm better, you've painted a picture of recovery, energy, and enthusiasm. Tip: use these expressions not only for illness recovery, but also for stress, tiredness, or burnout. Basically, anytime you feel drained and then regain your energy, these phrases work perfectly. Asterisk Part 5. Expressions for emotional outbursts and anger. Alright, we've talked about exhaustion, minor illnesses, and even dramatic sickness. But life isn't always about feeling tired or sick. Sometimes we just lose it. And English has some fun ways to describe anger and emotional outbursts. 1. Throw a wobbler. This is a very British expression, meaning someone suddenly loses control of their emotions, usually anger, but sometimes frustration or even crying. It's loud, messy, and a bit over the top. Example: my boss threw a wobbly when the deadline was missed. Or, for a funny situation, my little cousin threw a wobbly in the supermarket because I cut his sandwich into triangles instead of squares. It's dramatic, emotional, and often slightly humorous, especially when describing children or overreactions. 2. In a bad mood. A simple and versatile expression. It means someone is grumpy, annoyed, or just not happy, often for no obvious reason. Example: don't talk to her right now, she's in a bad mood. Bad moods can be quiet or subtle short answers. Frowning, snapping at people, or just being irritable. It's less intense than full-on anger, but still noticeable. You can also use the opposite. He's in a good mood today. Perfect for describing anyone's emotional state. 3. Grumpy. This one is smaller in scale, but very descriptive. Being grumpy means a little annoyed or irritable, often temporarily. Example: I get grumpy when I don't sleep well. It's a soft kind of irritability. People might frown, give short answers, or just act quiet. And sometimes it's even funny. Grandpa's being grumpy because his football team lost again. Quick scenario: imagine a day when everything goes wrong. Your boss yells, the elevator stops, your coffee spills, and your cat knocks over your plant. You might say, I'm in a bad mood, feeling grumpy, and honestly, I'm ready to throw a wobbly. Boom! You've painted a full picture of your emotional meltdown in 3 phrases: expressive, vivid, and relatable. Tip: throw a wobbly is informal. Great for conversations with friends, but not for business emails. Grumpy is perfect for everyday minor irritations or playful teasing. In a bad mood works anytime you need a simple, natural way to describe someone's emotional state. Asterisk Part 6. Expressions for shock, surprise, and being startled. Alright, we've talked about exhaustion, illness, recovery, and even anger. But sometimes life throws you a sudden surprise or scare, and English has some really fun ways to describe that. 1. Jump out of my skin. This is a very visual expression. It means you were so shocked or scared that your whole body reacted like you literally jumped. Example: I jumped out of my skin when the fire alarm went off. Or for a funny scenario, she jumped out of her skin when someone knocked on the window. It's perfect for sudden, unexpected moments, loud noises, scary scenes, or even a phone ringing at 3 a.m. too. Scared stiff. This one is simple and dramatic. It means you're so frightened that you can't move. Example: I was scared stiff during the horror movie. It's great for storytelling. Imagine standing frozen, heart racing, not daring to blink. It makes your story feel real. 3. My heart skipped a beat. This is more about sudden surprise or shock, not necessarily fear. It can be good news, bad news, or anything startling. Example: when I saw my exam grade, my heart skipped a beat. It's very versatile and expressive, perfect for conversations, social media, or casual storytelling. Quick scenario: imagine this. You're walking home at night, half asleep, and a cat suddenly dashes across your path. You text your friend, "Oh my God, I literally jumped out of my skin. My heart skipped a beat. I was scared stiff." Instantly, your friend can picture the scene and feel your panic and maybe laugh a little at your dramatics. Tip: use "jump out of my skin" for sudden shocks. Scared stiff is perfect for moments when you freeze completely. My heart skipped a beat works for surprises. Whether scary or exciting, these expressions are great for casual conversations and storytelling, and they really make your English sound alive and colorful. Part 7. Summary and encouragement for daily practice. Alright, we've been on quite a journey today. From feeling exhausted, a little under the weather, dramatically at death's door, recovering to being fit as a fiddle, getting angry, and even jumping out of our skin, we've covered a full spectrum of feelings and expressions. Before we wrap up, let's review the key expressions we learned today. Done in, worn out. Drained, for when you're completely exhausted physically or mentally. Under the weather, feeling rough, not 100%, for minor illnesses or feeling off. At death's door, feeling like a zombie, wiped out, for dramatic sickness or extreme fatigue. Fit as a fiddle, back on my feet, raring to go, for feeling healthy, energetic, and fully recovered. Throw a wobbly, in a bad mood, grumpy, for emotional outbursts and irritation. Jump out of my skin, scared stiff, my heart skipped a beat, for sudden shock, fear, or surprise. Tips for using these expressions: mix and match. Don't feel limited to one expression at a time. Combine them to paint a vivid picture of your feelings. Example: after the meeting, I was drained, a bit grumpy, and my heart skipped a beat when the boss shouted unexpectedly. Add humor. These expressions work best when you add a funny or relatable story. People love it when English is not just correct, but entertaining. Practice out loud. Pretend you're telling a friend your day. Over-exaggerate a little. It's great for memory and makes your English sound natural and lively. Use in texts and social media. Short messages or captions are perfect for these expressions. A simple "still feeling a bit under the weather" or "back on my feet and raring to go" can make your English colorful and expressive. Quick example story. Let's put it all together in a mini story. Hey everyone, I'm absolutely done in today. Yesterday I felt a bit under the weather and even at death's door after that terrible flu. But today, I'm back on my feet, fit as a fiddle and raring to go. My boss threw a wobbly this morning, and I was grumpy. But then a surprise package arrived and my heart skipped a beat. I literally jumped out of my skin. Life is crazy, right? See? Just like that, you can pack in a ton of expressions naturally, humorously, and colorfully. Final Words English is not just about grammar and vocabulary, it's about expression, feeling, and personality. Using these idioms and phrases makes your English sound like a native speaker, full of life and humor. So here's my challenge for you. Pick 3 expressions from today. Try to use them in a story about your day. Don't worry about mistakes, just have fun. Remember, the more you practice daily, the more natural your English becomes. And keep it light and humorous. Your stories will not only improve your English, but also make people smile. That's it for today's episode of English Journey. Keep practicing, keep laughing, and keep your English colorful. See you next time.